Hello again, my name is John and welcome to my latest video. This video is more or less a continuation of my pizza from scratch video. If you haven't seen that one yet, I'll leave a link in the description box below this video. And in this one I'll be demonstrating how I make and cook my meatballs and pasta sauce with a little demo on how to cook spaghetti nearer the end of the video. And here's a list of the ingredients you need to follow along. The first list is for the 12 meatballs and there's a separate ingredient list for the pasta sauce. And I'll start by making the meatballs. First job is to oil a tray or a plate to keep the meatballs on when it comes to forming them. Okay, simply add all of the ingredients to a bowl and mix it all together using your hands. Try to use a wide bowl like mine. It makes it a lot easier and is much more comfortable for hand mixing. Right, add the minced beef to the bowl. You may know that is ground beef, by the way, and make sure it has about a 15% fat content. Okay, once you've loosened the meat up a bit, add the breadcrumbs. I make my own breadcrumbs from any leftover stale or hard bread using a food processor. And next is the finely chopped medium-sized onion, followed by one large beaten egg. And in this little dish is a half teaspoon of dried basil plus a half teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of minced or chopped garlic. And the last ingredient is a teaspoon of hot chilli powder, but that's optional. Now give all those ingredients a thorough mix with your hands, making sure everything is evenly distributed throughout. Spend at least 3 to 4 minutes doing this. Once it's all mixed, divide the mixture into 12 portions. I like to use this mashed potato scoop. It works out pretty close to the 12 meatballs. Or you could weigh the mixture and then simply divide the weight by 12, then weigh each one individually. Of course, it doesn't have to be 12, you can make as many as you want. But I like this size for my recipe. These meatballs are just roughly formed at the moment. They'll need to be compressed and rolled in the hand before frying them. Okay, once all the meatballs have been formed, add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to a hot frying pan. Don't use olive oil. 1, it's a waste, and 2, vegetable oil handles this heat better. And start to fry the meatballs until the outside is dark brown and crispy. Don't worry about them not being cooked right through because they'll get finished off in the sauce later on. This is just to colour the outside. And when it comes to turning them over, just use a couple of forks. Okay, once the meatballs have plenty colour, I'll take them out, put them on a tray, and I'll set that aside, and then I can get started on making the pasta sauce. Right, to make the sauce, heat a medium-sized pan, not too hot, and this time you do use 2 tablespoons of olive oil. This is for the flavour. And start to slowly fry the onions on a medium heat until they're soft. This should take about 3 to 5 minutes. Once the onions are soft and almost transparent, add the 4 medium-sized cloves of chopped garlic and mix that for a minute or 2. Next, add the 1 teaspoon of salt, followed by the 1 teaspoon each of dried basil and dried oregano. If you can't get hold of these on their own, use Italian seasoning, which is basically a selection of dried mixed herbs. And now mix that all together. And it's now that you start to get that wonderful Italian pasta sauce aroma. Time to add the tomatoes, in this case 3 cans. Once I've mixed it all together, I like to give it a quick whiz with my food blender. Not much mind, just enough to get rid of all the larger bits of the chopped tomatoes. If you haven't got a blender, use a whisk or a potato masher to get rid of the larger lumps, or you can just leave it as it is. But I like a finer texture, especially for my pizza bases. And the final ingredient for the sauce is a few chopped basil leaves. Not only does this add more flavour, the combination of the bright red and dark green gives a wonderful vibrant colour to this dish. Okay, bring the sauce to a simmer and carefully add the meatballs one at a time as shown in the video. They're still a little delicate because they're not properly cooked yet, but once they've been in the simmering sauce for a quarter of an hour, they'll be much more solid and easier to handle. Also, this sauce and the meatballs thinly sliced are absolutely perfect for homemade pizza topping. I have a video on exactly how to make those from scratch, including the pizza dough, on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And if you're feeling adventurous and you want to continue with this all homemade Italian theme, why not try my easy step-by-step ciabatta bread and mozzarella videos? I'll leave links for those below too. Put a lid on the pan and set the timer for 15 minutes, and that's my spicy meatball and pasta sauce done. All I need to do now is to cook a little pasta to go with it. Okay, and once again you need a similar pan with a lid. Fill it 3/4 full of water and bring it to a steady boil. Then add 1 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil. I'm doing 200 grams, that's 7 ounces of spaghetti. This should be enough for 3 to 4 people. Now carefully ease it down into the water a little at a time as shown. Once it's all submerged, cover the pan, and I'm setting the timer for 8 minutes. That's how long I cook spaghetti for, because that's how we like it. You may want to alter that time to suit yourself. Start by testing a bit after 6 minutes, then every half minute after that until you reach the desired texture that you like. And once you've reached that desired time, write it down so you'll remember the next time. Right, I'll strain it off and start putting this meal together. Now work quickly but safely, because the pasta will continue to cook all the time that it's hot. You can add some olive oil at this point. I'm just adding a teaspoon and I'll give that a quick toss. Then I'll make up a bowl and do the all-important taste test. And spoiler alert, I just know this one's going to get a big thumbs up. Right, I'll start with a good helping of pasta, then a couple of those delicious mouth-watering meatballs, and some of that wonderfully simple but fantastic tomato sauce. And I'll top it off with a good grating of my homemade Parmesan cheese, which I'll leave links for below. 1 making the Parmesan cheese and 2 opening it a year later. Even if you're not interested in actually making the Parmesan cheese, the videos, or so I've been told, are very interesting to watch anyway. I'll just sprinkle a few basil leaves on the top for a bit of colour. And take a quick snapshot before it disappears. And like I said earlier, the meatballs after cooking in the sauce have set just nice. And as you can see, are now cooked right through and are succulent and bursting with flavour. The spaghetti is perfectly cooked and the whole thing is absolutely delicious and well worth the effort. Well, that's it for this meatball and pasta sauce recipe. I hope you've enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you've learned something from it. It's an easy and enjoyable recipe to make, and I know this will be a hit with your family and friends. And don't forget to try my pizza from scratch video too. Because if you've managed to complete this recipe, then you're more than halfway there to making fantastic homemade pizzas. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in the kitchen and bye for now.